A massive iceberg stood directly ahead. Hard to starboard, the order was given. The engines were slowed, but it was already too late. At 11:40 p.m., the Titanic struck the iceberg. The collision was quieter than anyone expected. Many passengers didn't even notice it. Some felt only a slight vibration. A few even went out onto the deck to play with pieces of ice. But beneath the ship, an unimaginable reality was unfolding. The iceberg had torn open the hull. Water was rushing in. The ship's designers and officers inspected the damage, and before long, they understood the truth. The ship could not be saved. The Titanic was going to sink. The problem was that there weren't enough lifeboats for everyone on board. The regulations of the time were outdated, and no one had truly believed that a ship like the Titanic could ever sink. The crew began gathering passengers on deck, but many people didn't understand how serious the situation was. Some refused to leave the ship. Others thought it was only a precaution. As a result, the first lifeboats were lowered into the water nearly empty. As time passed, the situation became impossible to ignore. The bow was slowly disappearing beneath the sea. People could finally see the truth. Panic began to spread. The musicians kept playing to calm the passengers. The crew struggled to maintain order, but the ocean wasn't stopping. With every passing minute, the Titanic's fate became clearer. In the early hours of April 15, the front of the ship was completely underwater. The massive vessel rose into the air at a steep angle. Then the Titanic broke in two, and within minutes, she disappeared beneath the dark waters of the Atlantic. Thousands were left in the freezing ocean. Their cries echoed through the night, but the water was so cold that many died within minutes. Around 1,500 people lost their lives that night. Only about 700 survived. The sinking of the Titanic shocked the world. April 1912. You're aboard the most luxurious ship in the world. As you walk along the deck, the cold Atlantic wind brushes against your face. On one side, wealthy passengers are clinking glasses. On the other, immigrants dreaming of a new life in America are singing songs. Everything seems perfect. And no one knows that in just a few days, one of the greatest maritime disasters in history will unfold. This is the story of the Titanic, the ship that was said to be unsinkable, and the story of thousands of lives changed by a single iceberg. Factories were running non-stop, cities were expanding, and technology was improving every day. People had begun to believe that nothing was impossible anymore. The White Star Line wanted to build a ship that would become a symbol of that confidence. Their goal wasn't to create the fastest ship. They wanted the biggest, most luxurious, and most impressive ship ever built. The result was the Titanic. She was nearly 270 meters long. Inside were restaurants, a swimming pool, a gymnasium, a Turkish bath, and some of the most luxurious rooms of the era. For first-class passengers, the Titanic was a floating palace. For third-class passengers, it was a gateway to a new life. On April 10, 1912, the Titanic set out on her maiden voyage. She left England and sailed toward America. Around 2,200 people were on board. The first few days were flawless. The sea was calm. The sky was clear. Passengers enjoyed fine meals, danced, and celebrated. Everything was going according to plan. But there was something no one fully realized. The North Atlantic was filled with icebergs. For days, warning messages were sent to the Titanic. Ice ahead, dangerous waters, proceed with caution. The messages came, but many of them were ignored, because almost no one believed that anything could happen to the Titanic. Then came the night of April 14, 1912. As midnight approached, the lookout spotted something in the darkness.